you miss part one last week? Come on, sis.
Looking for a place to listen, learn, and laugh? Then come on, sis, and join Truly Portia and Stacy J every Monday and Wednesday, where we discuss
I
growth
see you
in
posted on
every
Facebook.
area
It
of
definitely
life.
sounds like, you went through a lot, even from what you've shared through your marriage and now as you're on your healing journey, because healing is a process for sure. What would you say has been the most difficult part?
Difficult part for me through this transition has been nurturing my oldest son, because my youngest is 2. It doesn't matter, but my oldest son has seen the transition from his parents being together to it being separated. So there was actually I'll never forget the day, because I'm drained. Like, I'm dealing with my own emotions, and I have to deal with my son's emotions. And it's draining me, because I'm trying to do and be everything that I can to make sure my son heals as well from this. But it's like nothing that I'm doing is working or helping him. It's like nothing that I'm doing is working or helping him. So it was a day when I'll never forget, I called my friend crying, because I'm like, I don't know, like I can't love my son the way I want to as a mother. I feel like I may have to distance myself, because he's hurting me and he's bringing me down. Because I feel like I've caught all the backlash from everything. And I said, it's draining me. And I don't know if I can really love him the way I want to and the way I have been, because it's too much. So that was the hardest point for me through this process.
Stacy.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
That was so honest. And if we're being honest in this space too, I kind of like experienced something similar to that, where I was going through so much, right? And it's like, this child needs all of me. And I feel like what I'm doing right now is not enough, but I know that he deserves more love, more care, more time, more support, more fun, just more of everything. And here I am, not even 0.5% of myself. So how can I be a mother to my son if I can't even get me together?
Right.
Like, what do I do? Does that make me a bad mom? And we all know that you have to, like, of course, take care of your children, but those moments where you're sitting there, you're like, I'm hurt so bad, I'm defeated. The world is literally on top of me. And my child, even if they're in their happiest spirits, right? It's like, I can't connect with that right now. Why can't I connect with it? He can't, I gave birth to him. He didn't do anything wrong to me. I know I'm not taking my anger out on him. It's not him. It's definitely not him. So why can't I connect with my child?
Yeah.
Wow. So did you end up, going to like see a counselor, see a therapist? Did you take any mental health practices from that?
Yes, I have a counselor that I still see. She has helped me greatly. And what's crazy is that I would have thought she would have focused on the issue, but she asked me one time what I came for, and I told her, and she never harbored on the situation, but she only focused on my self-care things and my self-care things that I need to do for myself to grow.
Yeah.
I got my son a counselor because he told me he wanted to talk to somebody. I got him a counselor. I got him in martial arts, just anything that helps stimulate his mind and help him in the moment with his frustrations and his anger. So yeah.
How old is your oldest son?
He just turned 6.
So you are raising a very conscientious and emotionally intelligent young man. The fact that he wants to go to counseling, this is going to stick with him for the rest of his life. And so he's going to know that there's always tools and resources that he can use, people who he can go to. So that's going to be a game changer for him.
Definitely. Listen, like, I didn't realize, it's crazy. Like, people need to realize that their kid needs the same help that we need as adults. Because I'll never forget when one day he was just tripping. So I said, Ariel, what's wrong with you? And he said, Mommy, I don't want to talk about it. And I said, no, you can talk to me, tell me, it's okay. And so he would say something and joking. And I'm like, Ariel, that's not it. What's wrong? And he's like, okay, Mommy. And he kept joking. And he said, okay, I'm finally going to tell you. And then he finally told me like how the situation was affecting him. And he said, I'm trying not to cry right now, Mommy. And I was like, you can cry. Like we cried together that night. I was just like, it was just heart-wrenching. And so I think we really need to be on top of that when it comes to our kids. It's not just us, but it's our kids too. But it's so hard trying to heal as a mother when you have a little one that's right there as well. So yeah.
That girl, you are tugging on my heartstrings right now.
I'm trying to blink.
Because all three of us have a son. We have sons, and so.
And I was about to say that, Stacey. It's something about the Black boys in our community where even if the moms aren't teaching them this, right? The world that we live in today, they go out here and they see other young boys that look like themselves, who are putting on this demeanor, like, oh, I'm tough, I'm rough, crying is for girls, that type of thing. And you even said something earlier when you were at your ex had personal and mental issues as well. Not saying that something wrong with him, right? But imagine the childhood trauma that that they have, and he fully addressed, right? There's even more men his age, and then as young as our sons, your son, right? 6 years old, and they already like they have to be hard. They can't express, that sensitive side or that emotion. I'm not going to say sensitive side because we're all human. We all cry. We all get sad. It's an emotion that every human being experiences. So to hear you say it just, like Stacey said, just tugged on my heart for sure. Because it's like, man, what can we do together collectively to show our young Black boys today like that? That's not the way. What programs are out? Stacey, we're gonna have to look that up and share that. And there's Big Brother programs out here. Of course, sports. Like you say, you put your son in martial arts. That's awesome. Creating that support and that foundation that he needs, so that way he's being, built up in the right way.
Yeah.
But I definitely think we need more of that, especially it's a lot of moms who may not have, a significant other or a spouse stand there 10 toes down and say, hey, I got us.
Yeah.
So
and kudos to you, Christy, for seeing that something was wrong and not just kind of brushing it off or rushing through your day, and you know what I mean? But you really took the time to see your son and to hear him and have that conversation and to take action to make sure that he was well and that he gets better. So that's awesome. That's awesome. So another one of your social media posts, you indicated that your ex-husband kind of blindsided you with asking for a divorce. So what was that conversation like? Walk me through that.
Yes, I honestly wasn't expecting it because we had just bought a house. We just bought a house together. I had just gotten a car wreck. Somebody hit my car about a month before. My car was totaled, and he wanted to go get a family SUV to take family trips on. 2 weeks before, he told me he questioned it, but now he sees that we're perfect for each other. And then his birthday, everything happened around his birthday. And he got upset with me because he had to make breakfast for himself one morning, and then he wouldn't talk to me. And yeah. And
like,
yeah. Yeah. Because I'll never forget, it was his birthday. I asked him what he wanted for his birthday dinner. I went and got the food that he wanted and ended up eating dinner by myself that night. And
where was he? Where was he during the dinner?
At his friend's house, fixing the light. Yeah.
Oh, so friend, that must have been a woman. Because you ain't gonna. No, that was a woman. And he could have came with a better lie than that.
Yeah.
And don't insult my intelligence. Anyway, I'm not trying to argue, but
no, it's
fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
And wouldn't answer any of my phone calls, and then called me when he was leaving. And I was like, I don't have nothing to say to you. You're gonna ignore my phone calls and call me when you're leaving and act like everything is fine. It's not. And so then I was like, okay, we talked. I said, I'm sorry, it is your birthday. I'm not gonna, have your night in back. Well, the next day he planned something with his friends. And then the next day after that, he had something planned with his friends. So I was like, where do I fit in the equation? And basically nowhere. He was like, well, we can go to that comedy show you want to go to. And I was like, well, you just throw me in there. No, I'm fine. I don't want to do it. And from that, he got upset with me. He had to make breakfast on his own. And he stopped talking to me. I'll never forget one night I said, hey, babe, well, good night. I love you. He said, I'm not in that space to tell you that. Good night. And basically a week later, he came to me and was like, can we talk? And I was like, okay. And so he was just like, I'm numb. I don't know how I feel towards you. So I said, so what does that mean? He said, I don't know. And so I said, okay, well, I'm going to pray for you. And I went in the house. And I found out the next day from an external source. She was like, hey, I'm so sorry to hear about your divorce. And I said, a divorce? Because he didn't tell me that. So that's how everything unfolded with the divorce coming along. So it was crazy. So I did not see it coming at all. It was very left field for me. I even asked him, I said, you told me 2 weeks ago that you see that we're perfect for each other. He said it was all a lie. Everything has been a lie. And so, yeah. So I didn't see anything coming.
Wouldn't you say, though, that you kind of, even though you probably didn't necessarily see the divorce coming from him, I guess being the initiator of it, but wouldn't you kind of admit that in a way you saw that the relationship, the marriage wasn't going anywhere, even though you bought the home, you guys got the home, the material stuff. Is it fair to say that though? Like you saw it coming?
I can say that, but I can honestly say at the same time, throughout our marriage, I walked on eggshells where sometimes it seemed like perfect. And then sometimes it was like, do you love me? Like, what's going on? So I can say like it was kind of questionable, but he also told me that he would never do what he did to me before. So I kind of held on to that, like
that piece of hope. That talking about, right?
Yes, I held on to that, and I'm like, well, he wouldn't do it to me again. So I just didn't think that it would happen to the extent that it happened the second time around. It was kind of like, oh, okay. But I was fine with it. I told him when he told me, I said, that's fine. I'm not going to fight for you like I did the first time. And I will continue to pray for you. But he told me, I'll never forget when he looked at me when I said that, he said, what do you mean? And I said, this is your second time that you did this to me. I should have never took you back. And I'm not going to fight for you again. And he was so confused when I said that.
Wow.
And so I know there's a lot that you did, that you've been through, like with your son as well throughout all of this. And you have 2 sons with your ex. So if you don't mind sharing, you already clarified. One of them is 2. One of them is 6. How did you explain all of this to them as far as where you guys are now? moving forward.
Right. Well, with my oldest, what happened was that his father moved out without explaining it to him. So I actually told him in the car on the way home, I said, hey, your dad is gone. He's in another house, but I want you to know that you're still going to see him and you're still going to get time with him. This is not going to change. You'll still see your father. Because he did start to cry, but I was like, you're still going to see your father. He's still going to be in your life. That's not going to change. It's just separate houses. So that's how I explained it to my son.
Very straight, no beating around the bush. I appreciate that. I like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Kids are not, they're far from done. Nowhere near it.
Yeah, I haven't sugarcoated anything to him as far as anything going on, because there has been times where he still thinks we're still married and together, and I tell him, no, we're not. Your dad has moved on, and that's that. We're not together. We're separate. Mommy and daddy are not married.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I tell him what it is. I'm not for oh yeah, everything's fine. No, that this is what it is, and we're gonna move on from it.
And that's I think that's necessary. It's definitely necessary. Stacey.
Yeah.
So I do want to double back real quick just to rewind a little bit, because we talked about the 2-parent household, but I'm wondering if you feel like after it's all said and done, it was all for the best so that your sons can see a happy mommy.
I do. And it took me time to see that, because I was hurt so much at the thought of, oh my gosh, my kids, like, how are they going to rebound from this? But I had people feeding into me and telling me, like, you need to realize that it means nothing to be with someone if they cannot see their mother truly happy. Mm-hmm. So I know everything will be for the better in the long run, especially if my children can see mommy truly happy in whatever way that looks like in the future. Yeah.
That's good.
So you had already mentioned too, like, this is the best you've ever been in a while. So where are you now emotionally and mentally after having gone through all of this?
Yes, I feel like I've honestly done a 180. Emotionally, I was breaking out in hives. Anytime my ex actually contacted me or came to the house, I would break out in hives. And I was just like just emotionally just be in turmoil at anything, dealing with the divorce, my ex, the thought of anything, to the point where I would just shut down. I was going into bouts of depression and anxiety. And now I really feel like it's a 180, because I realized that no matter the actions of another person, they have no control over my life. Mm-hmm. So I'm more able to control how I respond and my mental attacks when they come, because I still get anxiety sometimes thinking about the future and what it's going to look like, but I'm able to control those things when I have onsets, when they come on. So it's definitely different from the beginning to now, to where I'm at.
That's awesome. Yeah. And it's so interesting that you said you were breaking out in hives, because I was speaking with my mental health counselor today, and I was telling her that I wasn't stressed, but my body was reacting as if I was stressed. And she said, the body is the theater of your emotions, especially your face. Your face is the theater of your emotions. And so we could oftentimes tell ourselves that we're okay, but then your body will react the complete opposite.
Right.
So I do want people to understand that, like, you can tell yourself all day that you're okay, but make sure that you really are taking care of yourself. And so, Christy, what advice, is there any other advice that you would want to share with your sisters who are going through a similar situation?
Honestly, the best thing that you can do, it'll be cliche or sound cliche, but just push through. Because at the end of the day, you have your own goals in life, your own wishes, your own desires. And just because something falls out is not the end. So push through and keep going, because especially if you have kids, because you're not only fighting for yourself, but you're fighting for your kids. And a person is not going to control your life, and you can end up way better than what you ever thought or imagined than before. So just push and keep your focus and keep it going.
Yeah, that's good
Now,
stuff.
apart from broken bad marriage, if it's not there, just pull away and push yourself onward and forward, because that definitely is best for you and the kids, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. Christy, I thank you so much for joining us. I'm so happy for you and your boys. It sounds like you are in a much safer mental state versus, walking on eggshells in your marriage. And, I'm just gonna be praying for you and your family. And now you have my phone number.
Yes.
We do actually live very close to each other, so we can connect
Definitely.
quite often.
Definitely, Stacey.
Yes, I thank you so much for being transparent and honest. And I do believe that your story, your journey is going to help so many women that look just like you.
Thank y'all so much for having me.
Yes.
Thank you.
One last thing before we let you all go, I do want to share that if you visit our Instagram page, we do have a helpline list of numbers that you can reach out to if you are going through any type of crisis right now. We have just about almost every type of helpline featured there. Just click on the consultation highlight button on PS Consulting Firm Instagram page, from mental health hotline all the way through substance abuse hotlines. We want you to know that there are helplines out there. If you don't know who to call, use it.
Absolutely. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Once again, Christy, thank you so much for your time. We love you, sisters. And until next time, y'all take care.
That's not my job. That's
what
not
Michelle said.
Already grow, what you gonna do?
Looking for a place to listen, learn, and laugh? Then come on, sis, and join Truly Portia and Stacey J every Monday and Wednesday, where we discuss growth in every area of life. No topic is off limits. Let's grow together, stand in solidarity, and fix each other's crowns. Brought to you by PS Consulting Firm, because there's more.
I was struggling. Y'all have no idea. It's been a long time coming.
Not the word that I couldn't believe. At least we could laugh about it, because I was like